Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Brad Davis Monday morning radio broadcast. Another busy week. Okay, this morning I had John Olson with me. He's with me, a guest once a month. Leila Campo is the head of Associated Builders and Contractors, and she's been on the line. She's a listener, and we were talking about the unions and the bidding and so on and so forth. Leila, good morning.
Good morning, Brad. How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining me. As I said, we present both sides of an issue. You know that. Now, I talked about the ING situation. They're going to build a $100 million building in Windsor. And they've got union contractors, but also there's some non-union contractors. So I don't understand what the problem is here.
Right. And you know, it was interesting. I actually did an interview with one of John's counterparts, Charlie LeConte, who you've had on your show a couple of times too, Brad. We both did an interview on Tom Monahan on Sunday.
Yep.
And he went first, and he talked about how his group doesn't care if construction goes open shop or union, as long as it's built by Connecticut companies. And I had to point out the hypocrisy because they are picketing like mad. They're picketing, obviously, this very interesting ING issue. And also WFSB. Both are being built by Connecticut contractors. In fact, one is signatory to one union. It's kind of this little technical detail. They're not signatory to all the unions, but they're signatory to the carpenters union.
Yeah.
That's not enough for them. The bottom line is they have no credibility on this issue, Brad. They want these PLAs, which means 100% of the work will go to union guys, and they don't care if they come from Springfield, Rhode Island, or New York. That's what they want.
Well, let's say they're going to picket Channel 3 too, right?
Yes, they already are picketing. That job's being built by Conover Construction, who the unions desperately want to unionize them. They say they make all these claims about Conover, about what a rotten contractor they are, but they're in the rooms with Conover trying to convince them to sign a union agreement, in which case they'll become a perfectly qualified contractor in the union's mind. And that's the bottom line. But the ING issue is just going to bring all of this back to the forefront. So you've had them on. They call themselves different names. They constantly kind of have this infighting going on between themselves, so they have to change these things. They went from Fair Coalition to now Connecticut First. But the hypocrisy is blatant because it's being built by all Connecticut contractors. Many of them will be union, but they're still picketing because they wanted 100% union. And the other thing is they wanted this project in Hartford. The reason they want it in Hartford is because Mayor Perez is a big ally and will help turn the heat on. I mean, WFSB and ING have both left Hartford because they didn't want to comply with the demands that are being met.
You're absolutely right, and you know I couldn't get the union to admit this. They said no, that's not. But we both know. I know the reason ING is going to Windsor. That's right. You're right. You're right on the money.
And I think they're going to make a very big point of protesting these two companies so that other Hartford companies don't get the same idea. They have to prove that they can hold this together, that they can hold up their end of the bargain to Mayor Perez. And their end of the bargain is to help put the heat on and make everything happen in Hartford.
You know, Leila, you know me as well as anybody, and I'm not, people say I'm anti-union. I'm not anti-union. All I'm saying is if ING wants to hire 3 union companies or 3 contractors of the union and a couple that are not, if they came in with a lower bid and they're from Connecticut, that's all I'm saying. Let's give the business to Connecticut people. I was against this Alabama thing at UConn, but, I mean, I don't understand why they have to go out and picket and force people. And this, let me tell you something, this is going to blow up in their face, too.
I think so. And the reason is they've had this alliance with the minority contractors, and it's been a rough alliance. Quite honestly, we've been talking to a lot of minority contractors lately because minority contractors are almost always non-union. But in Hartford, they made this deal where you would be allowed to participate on projects if you're a minority contractor and you were non-union. So they'd say, okay, we're going to let out 85% of the work to union-only companies and then 15% of the work to non-union companies as long as they're a minority. But what's happening is the unions are reneging on this deal and giving the non-union minority contractors a very hard time. And there's all this talk about Connecticut companies, and yet Diggs is a company from, where is it, Kansas City? Diggs is overseeing all of the construction in Hartford. These hypocrisies go on and on. There's a lot of rumors that they're supposedly meeting all these minority worker requirements, and that actually they're finding out that these people are living, supposedly living in vacant buildings, so they know they're just falsifying the addresses. And that's rumor and speculation, but it comes from some pretty good sources.
Well, ING is going ahead, and they're going to build in Windsor. I was talking with somebody on Saturday night, and they're furious. I don't blame them. They're furious.
Yes. And they'll usually bring up a couple of others. The WFSC, obviously, they're picketing. They want the Walgreens to be PLA, and they've lost that one in, is that East Windsor?
Yeah, that's Windsor. That's Windsor.
That's Windsor.
Yeah, that's a big one.
There's a couple of others that they're not talking about. The Utopia deal is going to be union only, and that was a deal cut with the unions and the developer, and that's why that project has been on the fast tracks, because the unions have been working behind the scenes very hard for that developer to help him, to pave the way for him to get that property. And that vote goes down tomorrow. So that is not being paid for by public dollars. That's not as much ABC's battle. We try to really focus on where PLAs are being used for political feather bedding. They cost a lot more money to build under a union-only agreement because you eliminate so much of the competition. And so, and I'll tell you, there is one public one that's coming up that they're trying to make union-only, Brad, and that's the Waterbury school system.
Yeah, okay, we'll talk later. I'm running out of time. Hey, Leila, thanks for the call this morning. Appreciate it. 8:30 in the morning.